Hello and welcome. So I have just shown you and unveiled the first paint crate and shared with you what's inside that paint crate. Not just the specifics about the supplies that are in there, but what you're going to experience and what you can expect from the paint crate. And I'm so excited now to share with you a lesson, a painting, an experience. Before I get started, there's an opening um, ceremony or ritual that I like to start with. And I would really love to invite you to join me for this. So we're going to bring our feet flat on the floor. Hands wherever they're most comfortable in your lap, by your sides, on the table. I actually like to put them on my canvas or my journal, whatever I'm working on. And we're going to close our eyes, feet flat on the floor. And we're going to take 3 breaths in together. With the first breath in, breathe in anything that came before this moment. And exhale, release anything, any worries, any struggles, any rushing around that pulled you ahead to this moment. And with our second breath in together, we're going to breathe in anything pulling us into the future. And exhale, release all worries and expectations of things to come. And with our third and final breath in together, we're going to breathe in this moment. And as we exhale, release. Mindful, present, and grounded in this moment we have together. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And I like to say, I've just started into this practice of saying a little creation prayer before I get started. So again, my hands on the canvas, feet on the floor, and I say my prayer. Dear Mother, Father, God, I embrace the magical, joyful energy of my inner child and connect with my vision to create with ease, abundance, and love the painting that is desired. I trust the process to reveal the imagery and emotion that is needed for healing at this time. With love, Amen. So this is the first time I'm sharing that little prayer. And this is something that I do before I sit down to do a commission piece. And I will connect in to my heart and ground and connect into the feeling that I want to have for this piece. Today is about play and fun. So let's get started. Okay, so we have our 12 by 12 canvas, beautiful fresh canvas. I have a jar of water. This is the only thing I'm adding to the crate. I have a little jar, 3/4 full of water. I have a palette knife, a 1/2 inch flat brush, size 10 round, and the detail brush. And because these are fresh brushes, I like to just kind of loosen up the bristles because they are treated so that they stay pointy and nice, and sometimes need a little bit of work to get loosened up. There we go. So I have my brushes, I have my water above me here, I have my palette plate, and I have my paints. So you can see. And in this box, when you receive it, these paints will all be labeled for you. Okay. But for now, I have my colors here. And so we are going to paint a really cute painting. I think it's a really cute painting that I created last year of a ladybug and some forget-me-nots. So we most certainly need blue. And the way I like to use this, I like to scoop from the back scoop, put it down. And you're not going to need near as much paint as you think you're going to need. So let's start with that. And you can wipe the back off very easily on the jar. Take a paper towel or a napkin and then wipe it off. And make sure you get all that blue off because you don't want to contaminate your next paint color. I'm going to get some yellow. That up there. And that's maybe a little bit more for the background. There we go. So again, each of these containers holds 1 ounce of paint, and we are using Golden Artist Colors heavy body acrylic paints. We have primary cyan, primary yellow, primary magenta. Because this is our primary box, this is our first introduction. White, titanium white, zinc white, in case you're curious, is actually much more transparent. Titanium white is more opaque. What does that mean? It means it covers better. When you blend it with your paint colors, it actually makes more of a pastel color. Whereas the zinc isn't going to tint your color as much. It'll lighten it, but it won't pastel, and it also won't cover as much if you are layering. I'm taking a very, very small amount of black, just a little bit there, and that's probably still way more than I need. There we go. So again, wipe off your palette knife so you don't have to worry about washing it later. Beautiful. And we are going to start with big, beautiful brush strokes with our flat brush, our 1/2 inch flat brush. And I'm going to mix, I want something a little bit darker than this blue. So I'm going to take the blue in the middle, I'm going to take some of the red, and yes, I'm mixing my paints. And see, now we've got this beautiful purple. If I wanted a bit more blue, there we go. And this is our first color, primary cyan with primary magenta. Probably twice as much of the blue as the red, if not a bit more than that even. And I'm going to make beautiful big petals. And as you can see, I did not mix near enough of this color. If you want it to spread a bit more, dip it in the water. I'll make it a bit thinner, but it'll also help to spread and fill in the gaps. And I'm going off the page on this one because I've made my flower super big. So a little bit of red, lots of blue. Mix that up. So this petal's gonna come off the bottom. And another petal over here. And that one's coming off the bottom as well. There we go. So this is our first forget-me-not. Super huge magnified forget-me-not. More of this purple to sketch out another one underneath here. So this one is going to be whoops, and I only did 4. So there's the 5th petal. And this flower is actually also going to be covered up with a ladybug. But I like to have it sketched in. And then we'll do one up here. This one's going to be a little farther away, a little bit angled. Mixing up some more of that dark purple. This one can go underneath there. And then one more kind of in here. And again, this one's going to be kind of angled, so it's going to be a little bit of a funny shape. So we're looking down like we're at the side of the flower. Kind of. There we go. So there are our forget-me-nots. And I am going to scoop a bit more blue. Alrighty. So we have these beautiful dark flowers, and you're like, what is happening? Go in with the solid blue. And you're not going to paint olive on top of it, but you're going to paint just a little bit around the edges of these petals. And let it blend with the dark blue. So you can see how it's staying dark with little, oh, I love those smudges. You see that? This little smudge here, where it really blends the blues together. Makes me so happy. Oh, I love it. Okay. And then we're going to do that over here. and just very loose. So even though we're using short brushes, one of the tricks is to hold the brush back on the handle farther to be looser with your painting. So even though we're using short brushes, you can still be very loose and you can paint from the edge. Excuse me. And that's mostly going to stay dark because our ladybug is going to be on top of that one. So there's that. Now, I want to make that periwinkle on the chart. So this periwinkle is like mostly blue with a little bit of the red, the primary magenta, and white. So this nice dark purple we've got here, I add white to this. This should turn into the periwinkle that we desire. And if it doesn't, it's a little more blue, add a little more red. There we go. Beautiful. And then we're going to brush. The light is coming from this side. So we're going to be mindful, and we're going to go quickly so that we can really make use of the wet paint and blend. I just love smudgy paint. Now for this one, this is mostly going to be underneath the ladybug. So this flower is not as bright. But this flower is full sun, very bright. Oops. Now this petal is on top, so we need to make sure that this petal stays on top. Beautiful. And then this petal, like there, this flower again, a little bit more in the light, but also not as bright. This is going to be the brightest flower. This one will be a little bit bright and a little bit dark. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, I would like a little bit of purple because you know that sometimes forget-me-nots have like that little bit of purpley to it. So I'm adding a bit more red to my color here. I'm putting the purple more in the shaded parts of my flower. That purple doesn't show up on the video very well. Let me exaggerate that a bit more for you so you can see it. So again, the purple is kind of going in the shadowy parts of the flowers, of the petals. So this one's not really going to have much purple. Little on this petal. A little bit up here. And this middle there. And now we can even go lighter. So I'm going to take the white, Scoop it into this bluey periwinkle color. It's even lighter. And we want to kind of use the side of the brush this time instead of, so not flat like this with the wide brush strokes, but narrow, okay? And we're going to kind of just, and yes, I love to make sound effects when I'm painting. And then come back and smudge very lightly. Love this. And this flower is very bright because it's in the full sun. So we need to brighten it up a lot. So I'm using the wide brush for this flower. Using the wide brush for a bit of this. Okay, this is looking pretty awesome. So let's take a little break from the flowers. I'm going to wash my brush. We're going to use the same brush and do the background. So I'm going to have one of my napkins just sitting right here to dry off my brush. Just make sure you get as much of that color out as you can. These are really nice brushes, so we want to take good care of them so that you have them for a long time. Okay, so we're going to do like a greenish background. So green is mixed with blue and yellow. So we'll do blue. Tease me. And we'll do some yellow. So there is one green. Now let's add a bit more yellow to the edge. We want some variety in our background. So now we've got a more yellowy green. And then we're going to add some white to the light green, the yellowy green, I should say. And then we're going to add some white to this darker bluier green. And I'm going to take a bit more of the blue, a bit more yellow. Okay, so see, I've got 4 values now of greens. And then any mix of these will go into another color. So I'm going to just kind of, I like to do little cross hatch, like crisscrosses with my brush strokes. It's going to be darker in here so we can outline the flower petals and then blend in by crisscrossing. So that is a darker color, and I don't have near as much of that dark color as I want. So I'm mixing up some more of that. And it's going to be darkish in here. A bit darkish underneath here. But then that's going to go yellowier and lighter. And if some of the blue mixes in, that's fine because there's blue and green. And so we're just going to mix up, fill in all the color, all the background. And this is actually quite a lot darker than I would like it to be. So before I go too far and before the paint starts to dry, I'm just going to take some white and mix it on the canvas into that green. And like I said, I love having the blend of color and brushstroke show. So I'm not necessarily blending it all the way in together and letting it stay kind of streaky. Background you can play with for as long or as short of a time as you want to. But you want to make sure it makes you happy. You want to make sure that it complements the focus, which is these big, beautiful forget-me-nots and the ladybug we're going to add on at the end. So see how that's all nice and smooth there? I'm going to go in and give it some texture. Run some different values in there. And if you want, if it makes you nervous using the big, large flat brush, you can use the large round brush. So I got a hair in my painting. So I just turn the brush so that the narrow edge is where I'm tracing with. Do you see that? Is my hand in the way? So when I'm tracing, I use the brush this way. And when I'm filling in, I use it this way. And I want to add a little bit of this periwinkle just to kind of neutralize this green a little bit. It's very green and very bright. And I love it, but it's not quite what I'm going for. Although I do really love this dark side here. Maybe I'll use some of this purpley red. So one trick for neutralizing colors is use their complementary. So that's what's opposite on the color wheel. So when you're using green, the opposite of green is red. And if I add a little bit of red to the green, it becomes a more neutralized color. So it's less vibrant. So I don't want to do it too much because I love my vibrant colors. I want to do it a little bit because I want to push the background back. And I want the flowers to stand out more. And I want a little bit more of the yellow up in the sunny part up here. And down in here, because this is the sunny part as well. There we go. Oh my goodness, love it. Okay. So now we're going to use, let me see. Let's use this round brush, the big round brush. And we're going to go back to the flowers. Now I'm going to use just the white for now. And forget-me-nots have like this circle in the middle. And then it's like a flower inside of a flower. Comes up like a star. Okay. So we're going to do this. All of our forget-me-nots. And if you need a little more white because it's starting to get tinted with the other colors, go ahead and grab that. If it's not quite pure, that can be okay. Especially like this piece here, this is going to be in a shadow, so I want the lighter line, but I also want it to be a little shadowier. So I'm going to make it a bit more blue. And this one, because the flower's on an angle, I'm going to make this an oval. Same sort of thing. This one's going to be oval. Perfect. Okay. Now in the center of these white spots, many forget-me-nots are actually yellow. So, but I don't know that I want this like super bright yellow. So I'm going to tone it down with just a smidge. I'm going to just dip my brush into the red and just put a smidge of red into the yellow. Oops, and that is way too much. Okay, way too much. That's better for the very center of the flower. So let's do that. I'm just kind of dabbing it. And actually, let's come around here. So that's going to be a little bit dark around the outside and in the center. And then we'll do bright yellow in here. darken up the center even more. I may even add a little bit of blue because I don't like the way this is turning out. I want it to look like a little dipped in shadowy part. And that makes me happier. I like that better. So let's do that. Let's put a little bit of this here, a little bit of this here, a little bit of this here. Clean that off. Yellow. A little bit orangey. Because this side's going to be darker in the shadow. Darker down here. And lighter on the top. There, that was better. That's the perfect color right there. And see, sometimes this takes a little bit of playing. No one gets the colors right on the first shot. And that is a part of the beauty and the fun. It's just sticking with it and seeing what colors can I create. And I'm going to put a bit of white in my yellow and lighten this up at the very tippy toppy of it. This forget-me-not is closest to us so we can see the most detail on it. The other ones are far away, so we just put a little highlight. Still feel like this is not the bright yellow that I want. So I'm going to put a bit more on here. There. And then the white. There. Okay. And now we'll add the ladybug, and then we will do some more touching up. Because often after it's all together, we see places where the lights and the shadows don't quite match what we want to be creating. So I'm putting my ladybug, get the red. I've got my big round brush, excuse me, and I'm putting my ladybug right here. So this little ladybug is crawling from one forget-me-not to another. And this is going on very thick. And I mixed into the blue a little bit. So it's going to give me a bit of a darker red purple because the underpaint is not quite dry, and that's okay. I love the texture on paintings, but sometimes the thicker paint takes longer to dry, so it's harder to get just so. There's the red. And then we'll do some of the black with this brush as well before we move on to the detail brush. So ladybug body goes like this. And then there's this little head here. And then he's got like his little mouth here. You see that? There we go, focused. And I'm going to put a big splotch. And this is going to be hard to paint because he's still very wet. He's got a big black spot on him right here. And then another spot over here. And something just on the edge here. As the shell curves around. And then one back here. And one here. And one here. Awesome. There we go. So now Mr. Ladybug needs a whole lot of dry time. So we're going to go ahead and work on some shadows around Mr. Ladybug. So underneath the ladybug over here, it needs to be darker. So I'm going to take the blue and add just a teeny tiny smidgen of black. And that was way more than a teeny tiny smidgen of black, so I'll add more blue. And now this color, we're gonna go underneath the ladybug here like this. And we're gonna make a shadow underneath the head and the body as well. There we go. And that will make more sense in a little while. Let me get the details on the ladybug. There's our beautiful shadow. Even do this to make it point at the ladybug's shape. Oh, perfect. Love it. Now, something else that I like to do is go back to the forget-me-nots. Now, we're going to use some water and add it to the blue. And I'm going to add more of the red because I don't want such a harsh darkening, but I want it darker, more like a purple. And I'm going to get more water so that it's like a wash. Okay. And we're going to go in beside, in the parts of the petals that are deep. And we're going to outline, basically you're outlining the white because the white is what's going to stand out. And this other part is like where the petal disappears into, it goes down. So dark pushes the painting away, makes it farther, and light pulls it forward. So I'm just going to push this away a bit. Oops, I went over that one, so I'm going to have to do the white again, but that's okay. Do, 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 do. And then this one as well. Oops. Get some white in there so it's lightening it too much. There we go. Okay, and this one I like how there's the dark showing, so I'm just going to leave that guy alone. And let me touch up the white parts that I went over. This again. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I like it. And that's the other thing is you got to remember beauty is often in the imperfections and the smudges. There we go. And I want a little bit more of a red or an orange presence in the center here. And then we'll take and make just a couple little it's not working. Let's use Let's use a little detail brush. There. Oh my gosh. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. So. Brush in the water. Brushes are okay in the water for a few minutes, but you don't want to leave them in there for a long period of time, especially with the wooden handles, because they will start to expand and then they'll peel and then they'll get really hard to work with and ugly. So they still work fine, but it's nice to keep them nice. So now I'm going to, again, let me see if I can clean up my white. Take that green off. There we go. I'm going to use some water. And it's not quite clean anymore, but that's okay. And put the white paint in the water. So we're thinning it. If you have an acrylic glazing medium, that would work fantastic for this. If you don't, water is wonderful. And then we're going to put, oh, wait, before we do that, let's put the legs on our ladybug. Get some black. We got a little leg back here. There's a leg there. There's a leg here. There's a leg here. Body. And then he's got, so we put the little mouth thingy on him. Got some little antennas coming out here too. Cool. Okay. And so we take our white and we're going to highlight. So we want to make the legs stand out a bit more. So we're going to put little streaks, the legs of reflection. I'm going to put, ladybugs have a spot, and this is a little bit gray. We get to brighten it up again after, and that's the layers that make things interesting. A spot there, and a little reflective mark there. And then they've got these little, and they're spots. They're not eyes, but they look like eyes. The legs are really actually kind of cute. And we're gonna very lightly, not too thick, so we get to go back with the black. And then we're gonna go arm all covered in paint. With this gray as well, we're going to kind of gray in here. So we do want to blend that into the black. And we'll get the whites whiter in a moment. There we go. Okay. Now we need a black line to split the wings. Oops, and I got water dripping down. Oopsie, that's not what I wanted. I want more black. Okay. And now that poor ladybug needs to dry so I can get the whites as bright of white as we can get. So fill in just a little more of the black. Excuse me, goodness. I've been drinking kombucha, so the carbonation kind of gets me a bit. But kombucha is delicious. It's good for my belly and my digestion. So, other than brightening some of the white, let me see if I can get that to stick on there or if it's too wet. There we go. Oh, and we need to mix a little bit of a brighter red to highlight the ladybug shell. So we're going to use red. Oops. Starting to dry. With some yellow to make like a bright red, orangish. If it's heavier on the red, it'll be more of a bright red and orange. And this color, we want, you see the difference there? It's very subtle. It does make a big difference in the end. Put it just on the light part on the top of the shell. Add a bit more yellow to it. The problem with adding white to red is it makes pink. You don't want a pink ladybug. I may even just put some of this yellow. Brighten the shell up. And I'll get in there with some white. That's going to turn it a little bit pinky. This is where the light will reflect because their shells are quite shiny. And then another bright spot that we need to fix up. I got pretty dims right here, and that's going to be really hard because that paint is really thick. So I might have to wait for that guy. Might have to wait for it to dry completely. Yeah, because the paint's not sticking. There, that's actually pretty good. I'm not gonna get too fussy about it. The last thing we get to do is sign our names. So again, with the water and the detail brush, I'm gonna add water to this like reddish orange, this brighter red. And pull the color of the ladybug down to the other corner for my signature. Always sign your name to your paintings. And I like to put the year as well. So that I remember when I made it. Because my memory for dates is not the best. So there we go. It is 2020. And if you want to also add a bit more light to the petals, I feel like I want a bit more of this like periwinkle, but much lighter. And just kind of, and because this paint's dry, it's going to stay on top. You can use your finger to smudge it if you want to, like that. Let's really make this one stand out. There. I think that's pretty good. And if you wanted to, even add a little, whatchamacallit. So let's get some purple here. And there's like little buds. I'm gonna get this darker blue. There we go. So we got a little bud sticking up there. And we can highlight that a little bit if we want to. There we go. And that is our bonus painting. I hope you really enjoyed this. Let me switch back around. So I hope you enjoyed this painting and this experience as much as I did. I'm going to show you this in a little bit different light. So there's the finished piece. And I had so much fun. And look at the vibrant colors. Like none of these, except for the red, none of them are pure the color that came out of the tube. So it's really beautiful, and it's really exciting to be like, I made all these colors. You made all your colors. Good job, right? Amazing. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you had a lot of fun, and I look forward to creating with you live for the first paint crate, and we're going to paint the Make-A-Wish ladybug. So we're going to have 2 ladybug paintings that go together. Thank you so much.